As the world reels over the tragedy of these attacks, we now turn to what the potential fallout will be for the Muslims here and abroad, and whether European security will follow in the footsteps of the post-9/11 U.S. I was joined earlier by RT correspondent Rima Abu Hamdia and Saif Inam, policy analyst at the Muslim Public Affairs Council. I first asked Saif whether or not people in Europe were comparing this attack to 9/11 and if we might see a response from France that may be similar to the U.S. Patriot Act.
Well, hopefully there won't be any Patriot Act type response, because we've seen how ineffective that is here in the States. This is an opportunity for government, religious leaders, and the media to come together and show that a unified response is what is needed, and to make a healthy environment where engagement and cooperation is the way to counter terrorism. Otherwise, divisiveness, that just means at the end of the day the terrorists have won.
And Rima, here in the States, many lawmakers are also using this incident at Charlie Hebdo and the recent hostage taking, obviously, as sort of like an I told you so moment, as they told their friends over in Europe, I told you this would happen. How do you think the public response will be towards Muslims now here in America?
We saw the backlash against the Muslims happening over and over, not because of only what's going on in the U.S., but also because of what happens abroad. We're expecting more of the same. A lot of people are expecting more of the same, except that this time you see more and more awareness towards dividing between the people who are doing this and the other people who belong to the same group, whether it's the Muslim community or the Arab community or whatever community that is perpetrating the act. What's important here is that people need to understand that these are two different groups. You have the community, the Muslim community or the Arab community, but you also have these bad apples, if you want to call them, who don't just belong to these communities. You have the bad apples in every community.
Sure, absolutely. And now, Saif, these recent terror attacks here in Paris that have unfolded, especially the dramatic outcome in the past 48 hours, they've raised tensions again between Muslims and non-Muslims in France. And given the controversial 2004 ban in France for Muslim women wearing their veils, or 2008 French court ruling against the citizenship approval of a Moroccan woman because of her veil and because of her belief in submissiveness to her husband, they called that a defect against assimilation, and they denied her citizenship. What else do you think is going to happen in terms of how Muslims are treated in France and the EU as a whole?
Well, obviously, there's a concern all over Europe with the right-wing anti-immigrant parties that are popping up. We've already seen outside of France grenades being thrown at mosques, gunshots, right. And so that's a concern that not only the government but Muslim leaders need to address. But there's also a little bit of hope. Like you heard yesterday, the German justice minister say that it was disgusting that some parties were exploiting these attacks for their own agenda. So this is something that we, like all communities, have been going through across the world, but hopefully we'll see a change as opposed to a continuation.
Now, Rima, last one for you. Although this attack happened across the pond, France has the largest Muslim population in any Western nation. What steps do you think the Muslim community, what steps are they responsible in taking in order to quell Islamophobia, and anywhere else? Do they need to speak out more in condemning, or what other steps can you see helping this cause?
First of all, this is a global threat that requires a global response. This is not just a Muslim community response to what's going on, whether it's in Europe or in the Middle East or it's here. What the Muslim community, what the Arab communities need to do in the U.S. is as human beings to condemn the acts, not as Muslims. I don't think that the Muslim community or leaders should come out and say we condemn this act just because we're Muslims. I think they should condemn the act just because they are human beings. I don't think every single Muslim needs to go out and apologize for what crazy people are doing out there. It's like asking teachers to apologize for what one bad teacher is doing, or asking all the white men in America to apologize for what Adam Lanza did, or asking all the Christians to apologize for what Hitler did. I don't think this has to be. We should not bring religion into this.
So this should be just a human bond between everybody. All
exactly.
Right. Thank you so much for weighing in on this, guys. That was Saif Inam, policy analyst at the Muslim Public Affairs Council, and RT Arabic correspondent Rima Abu Hamdia. Thank you, guys.